Black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma. Sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Bill Maher is once again challenging what he calls woke-heavy arguments, and this time his commentary was aimed at none other than Whoopi Goldberg. In recent years, Goldberg has made several statements that sparked strong reactions online, and Maher addressed her latest remarks head-on. His critique was direct, pointed, and unfiltered, prompting plenty of discussion from viewers across the political spectrum. So what exactly did Goldberg say that caught Maher's attention, and why did his response generate such a strong reaction? We're breaking down the details, so buckle up. This discussion gets lively.
You've got to get past this endless, unforgiving, zero-tolerance mindset bent on punishing and disappearing anyone caught saying the wrong thing. The right response to speech you don't like is more speech.
Whoopi Goldberg recently responded to Maher's previous exchange with Sunny Hostin, where Maher accused her of misrepresenting his views. Now it seems Goldberg stepped in to offer her own take on Maher's comments. Viewers of The View are no strangers to passionate debates, and Goldberg joined the conversation with energy and intensity. Whether she intended to defend her co-host or simply weigh in on the broader discussion, her remarks quickly became another focal point in the ongoing back and forth.
Black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Goldberg offered her perspective on Maher's statements regarding issues affecting Black Americans, including jobs, the economy, and policing. However, her response shifted toward discussing presidential candidates and political priorities, which Maher later said didn't directly address the argument he was making. The contrast between the two viewpoints sparked renewed debate online, with many viewers examining whether the exchange represented a misunderstanding or a broader ideological divide.
Tear down statues of Lincoln and get rid of the police. Just, no, it's not that I've gotten old, it's that your ideas are stupid.
Maher didn't hold back in critiquing Goldberg's interpretation of his comments. He compared the discussion to what he sees as recurring issues on The View: tense exchanges, conflicting viewpoints, and moments that leave audiences divided. The show has built a reputation for its candid and sometimes unpredictable debates. When Charlemagne the God appeared as a guest, for example, viewers noted his visible surprise at some of the arguments presented, a moment that continues to be referenced in commentary circles.
Is valid because, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time, and, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, whether or not, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that.
To give context, the discussion on The View turned toward President Joe Biden and the legal challenges involving his son Hunter Biden. Public reactions to the case have varied widely, and Goldberg offered her interpretation of Biden's statements about accountability and the law. Commentators like Charlemagne argued that political figures should apply their own standards consistently. The exchange raised important questions about how public officials communicate about family matters, legal issues, and expectations of fairness.
I'm going to stop you for a second.
Uh-oh.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed
You really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all of a sudden?
I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over.
Goldberg stated that President Biden did not contradict himself regarding the idea that no one is above the law, suggesting that his position may have evolved over time. Her remarks drew criticism from some commentators who felt there was clear video evidence of Biden expressing that principle directly in the past. The disagreement wasn't just about the statement itself. It reflected deeper divisions about political messaging and interpretation.
The nation was founded on the principle But there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law.
Charlemagne's reaction to Goldberg's explanation was noticeable, as he appeared surprised by her reasoning. Goldberg added that it was possible Biden changed his stance over time because of the challenges he faced in office. Her perspective opened a broader conversation about how political leaders adjust their statements depending on circumstances, and whether that should be viewed as dishonesty or simply a shift in priorities.
I'm just going to follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground. They don't have.
Critics of woke political culture argue that some public figures tend to condemn certain actions only when they come from opposing political camps. Maher, upon hearing the exchange from The View, offered his own commentary, saying that discussions about accountability should apply evenly regardless of political affiliation. His remarks added fuel to an already heated conversation about fairness, media narratives, and political loyalty.
You love to speak truth to power, and we always should, but you have completely lost the ability to speak truth to bullshit.
Maher took issue with what he described as inconsistent standards. He argued that if an ordinary citizen faced legal consequences similar to those involving Hunter Biden, the reaction from some media figures and political commentators would likely be very different. His critique wasn't just about the case itself. It was about the broader perception that political influence can shape how justice is discussed. Maher urged viewers to think critically about these inconsistencies and what they mean for public trust.
Appropriate to bury the Hunter Biden.
You're talking about the press doing that?
He's saying that's what they did, and that is what they did. They buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
And we know for a fact that that's what they did?
Of course. You don't
but
follow
I'm
this.
saying you know for a fact that that's what they did. I don't know what they did.
I know, because you only watch MSNBC.
No,
Maher also pointed to media coverage of the Hunter Biden story, noting that several major outlets initially questioned or downplayed the seriousness of the allegations. He said that Goldberg followed this trend by treating the issue skeptically on The View. For Maher, the problem wasn't disagreement. It was what he viewed as a reluctance to examine the facts thoroughly. His remarks reignited the broader debate about how the media approaches politically sensitive topics.
Above any matters of politics or what's right or wrong, the one thing I know for sure about America is this. It's run by mean girls. Mean girls in the press and in politics and in life. And when they smell blood in the water, the lust to finish off a vulnerable person will never be denied.
Maher added that The View, particularly in heated moments, can appear more confrontational than conversational. He suggested that the show's format sometimes encourages hosts to dismiss opposing viewpoints rather than exploring them. Goldberg, known for her strong opinions, has often been at the center of these discussions. Maher criticized what he saw as a tendency to shut down dissenting perspectives, calling it an example of how ideological rigidity can stifle meaningful dialogue.
Run for office as if the voters don't live here, as if they don't go to the grocery store and Starbucks and the office, but they do. But a poll last year asked, if America is the greatest country in the world, more blacks and Hispanic Americans agreed with that than the white progressives. It asked if racism is built into our society. White progressives agreed with that at higher levels than black and Hispanic people. It asked if government should increase border security. Same result. Hispanic Americans are less okay with illegal immigration than whitey. And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them. Black people, they're just like us.
Maher also revisited the 2016 and 2020 election discussions, arguing that some critics of Donald Trump focused heavily on external explanations for his victories rather than acknowledging the appeal he had to many voters. He noted that in a democracy, unexpected outcomes are part of the process, and that political groups benefit when they reflect on voter motivations rather than solely blaming outside influences. His point was that understanding voter concerns is essential for future political success.
There's a coalition of Trump voters, people who really like him. They certainly are those. And then there's people who don't necessarily like him that much, but they still think he's less crazy than stuff that strikes them as aggressively anti-common sense.
According to Maher, many Trump voters weren't motivated by extreme positions but rather by frustration with messaging from certain segments of the political left. He argued that when political movements are perceived as dismissive of mainstream concerns, they risk alienating moderate voters. Maher suggested that focusing on issues that resonate with the broader public might be a more effective strategy than centering political debates around controversial or niche topics.
Well, stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry. No. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Maher concluded by addressing Goldberg's criticism of him directly. He noted the irony in a show titled The View objecting to him expressing his own views. His response maintained his trademark blend of comedy and commentary, pointing out what he sees as contradictions within political discourse. Maher's exchange with Goldberg has become part of an ongoing conversation about media, ideology, and the importance of open debate. And with that, we wrap up today's discussion. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.